Fight Club is one of the best films I've ever seen. There's just so much to go over. From the story structure to meanings embedded into the deep underbelly of this story. But we'll go over that later. In this review, we're going to talk about what makes this movie so good. But since I'm a chump, I'm going to nitpick the hell out of this movie. Alright, let's get started. Almost forgot. This review is full of spoilers. If you don't want me to spoil the movie for you, please turn off the review, go watch the movie. It's great. Just come back and listen to me praise it and nitpick it. But, alright, let's go. The plot of Fight Club is about an unnamed narrator played by Edward Norton, who is a white-collar everyman, who throughout the film has insomnia. This means he cannot sleep. He goes to support meetings for diseases he doesn't even have because it lets him open up and allows him to cry. This, in turn, makes him sleep. But all this is ruined after a lady shows up at his meetings. This lady is named Marla Singer. She is pure evil to the narrator. The narrator doesn't like her showing up at his meetings, so he doesn't open up and in turn doesn't sleep. So, deep inside, he grows a large hatred towards her. But later in the movie, the narrator meets a man on a plane. This guy's name? Tyler Durden, played by Brad Pitt. The narrator and Tyler become friends, and they soon live together in a broken-down house. They also learn that punching each other is so much fun that they open up an underground fighting club called Fight Club.
Gentlemen, welcome to Fight Club.
So then, Tyler starts banging Marla, and Edward Norton doesn't like this one bit. And while this is all happening, Fight Club has been getting bigger and bigger. More members, and even more fight clubs around the country. Then, shit starts to get real. Burning, destruction, violence, murder, all this leads up to Project Mayhem. Basically, Tyler wants to cause chaos and destroy major credit card companies because
you erase the debt record, then we all go back to zero. You'll create total chaos.
Yeah. So, will Edward Norton stop him? Will he stop these buildings from being destroyed? No. Not at all. The story is very entertaining to watch be played out. There's a bunch of destruction once Project Mayhem starts. There's so much violence and blood and stuff, it's just good fun to watch. The ending has one of the greatest twists in cinematic history, but we'll talk about that later. But Project Mayhem is all about, well, causing mayhem. Explosions, destruction, it's all visually beautiful, but visuals aren't everything. The script is just brilliant. Dialogue feels natural. It's just fun to hear what Tyler has to say.
You know why they put oxygen masks on planes? So you can breathe. Oxygen gets you high. In a catastrophic emergency, you're taking giant panic breaths. Suddenly you become euphoric, docile. You accept your fate. It's all right here.
While we're talking about performances, even though Tyler's not the main character of the film, he is the most important character. He steals the show. He's insane, but he's rational. He has a motive, a voice. He talks about anti-establishment, anti-capitalism, anti-establishment, so on and so forth. We'll get to that later, though.
Raymond.
He also has seemingly godlike powers, like breaking the fourth wall. For example, he can literally edit the film to his will.
I'm into the upper right-hand corner of the screen.
Tyler never really changes throughout the film. He doesn't develop. He's not very dynamic. He's always crazy, always wants to cause chaos. Some say he's the true voice of reason in the story, but I don't know if that's entirely correct. Nothing challenges him, and that kind of annoys me as a film watcher because I want to see him get caught by the police or something, but it makes sense why that doesn't happen once you learn the twists and see the rest of the movie. So the character of Tyler is portrayed by Brad Pitt. I swear, no other mortal man could have portrayed this role the way he did. Brad Pitt, before this film, wasn't really a known actor. He was in Seven and some smaller films, and he was great in Seven, but he didn't really launch off from Seven. He was kind of known, but wasn't very popular. He's a great character actor, though. He knows how to play a character. That's shown in Seven and in Fight Club. This movie really jumpstarted his career, bringing him into the limelight, and that's great. In this movie, he really shines. Pitt brings the energy and the enthusiasm that this role demands. Just watch him. Words can't even describe it.
That's what you get it out. Shut up.
Oh, yeah!
That's fucking funny. You don't know where I've been, Lou. Oh my God!
Come on, who else could play this part? It's almost tailored just for Pitt. Alright, I'll shut up about Brad Pitt. Let's move on. The narrator is the narrator of the story. It's his story. He's the main character. He is also the opposite of Tyler. While Tyler is insane and loud, the narrator is, calm and quiet. He works a white-collar job at a car safety office. It's very boring, drab, and Tyler is basically an anarchist. The narrator's life includes him working, furnishing his apartment, and not sleeping. Yep, he has insomnia, doesn't sleep. As I said earlier, he only gets sleep by going to his support groups, but he gets it back because Marla keeps bothering him. Anyhow, at the start of the film, it's very materialistic. All he cares about is his IKEA furniture, but that all changes. His apartment explodes, strangely after he meets Tyler, who stays at Tyler's house, and Tyler starts to rub off on him. Throughout the rest of the movie, the narrator slowly becomes Tyler, wanting to be like him. This role was portrayed by Edward Norton. Norton is a great fit for this role. He's really good at playing the average man, the nobody. He even played Bruce Banner in The Incredible Hulk a few years later. Before this movie, though, he had a good track record. He was in Primal Fear, American History X, People vs. Larry Finch, many more films. This movie also really helped his career. Now, Edward Norton is a popular actor for Wes Anderson movies. He's become a regular. That's a great, outstanding achievement. But overall, Edward Norton plays this role beautifully. He's just a good actor in general. Like Brad Pitt, couldn't imagine anyone else in this role. He also steals the show. These two are like bandits together. They just steal this show all the way. Now, this movie has a lot, and I mean a lot, of underlying themes of anti-establishment, anti-capitalism, basically anti-society. Since there's so many of them, I've comprised a compilation to give you sort of an idea. Enjoy.
Are there a lot of these kinds of accidents?
You wouldn't believe.
Which car company do you work for?
A major one.
Advertising has us chasing cars and clothes. Working jobs we hate so we can buy shit we don't need. You're not how much money you have in the bank. Not the car you drive. Not the contents of your wallet. You're not your fucking khakis. You're the all singing, all dancing crap of the world.
Tyler sold this soap to department stores at $20 a bar. God knows what they charged.
This is the best soap.
Why, thank you, Susan.
It was beautiful. We were selling rich women their own fat asses back to them.
I see all this potential, and I see it squandered. God damn it, an entire generation pumping gas, waiting tables, slaves with white collars.
I felt sorry for guys packed into gyms, trying to look like how Calvin Klein or Tommy Hilfiger said they should. That what a man looks like?
Self-improvement is masturbation.
Finally, we get to see what the big twist is. You thought you understood this movie? Well, you're entirely wrong. Here's the twist.
We did make love.
Is that what you're calling it?
Just answer the question, Marla, please. Did we do it or not?
You fuck me, then snub me. You love me, you hate me. You show me a sensitive side, then you turn into a total asshole. Is that a pretty accurate description of our relationship, Tyler?
We have just lost cabin pressure.
What did you just say?
What is wrong with you?
What did you just call me? Say my name.
Tyler Durden. Tyler Durden, you fucking freak. What's going on?
You got it.
No.
Do not fuck with us.
Say it.
Because
Say it.
we're the same person.
Yes, Tyler Durden and the narrator are the same person. Tyler was everything the narrator wanted to be. So every time Tyler spoke, it was the narrator. Every action Tyler committed, it was the narrator. So when they were fighting in the parking lot, the narrator was just punching himself. When Tyler and Marla were in the bedroom, really was the narrator who was banging Marla, not Tyler. The protagonist and the antagonist were the same character. I mean, what a twist. This is one of the best twist endings in cinematic history. But everybody already knows it. It's the Luke, I am your father of twists. If you don't know about this twist and you're watching the movie, you'd be blown away. I didn't know about this the first time I watched it, so I flipped. I was like, oh my god, this all makes sense. It's awesome. And the rest of the movie happens. And Tyler dies because Edward Norton shoots himself. But wait, why wouldn't Edward Norton die? He got shot through the brain. But wait, what? He's still walking around? Wait, how? How did the bullet exit his cheek? It was like in his mouth and his throat. It was halfway fucking down there at that point. So wait, why did Tyler die? Did he like skim part of his brain? Was Tyler like a cancerous growth in his brain? I don't know. It's confusing, I guess. But yes, Edward Norton lives and Tyler dies. But in a sense, the narrator became Tyler. He was just killing the overly dramatic part of Tyler, the idea of Tyler. Tyler's basically an idea. It's a theory, in a sense, in Edward Norton's mind. And since he died, where did all those thoughts go? Edward Norton's head.
What's that smell?
Anyways, on the second, third, and so on viewing of the movie, you can actually notice hints that Tyler isn't real. For example,
We have the exact same briefcase.
Except for their humping, Tyler and Marla were never in the same room. My parents pulled this exact same act for years.
You don't know how this feels.
Sometimes Tyler spoke for me.
Fell down some stairs.
I fell down some stairs.
What are you doing? Oh God, no, please, no!
For some reason, I thought of my first fight with Tyler. I'd never been in a car accident. This must have been what all those people felt like before I filed them as statistics in my reports.
even though this movie is one of the best movies ever made, it's got a hell of a lot of plot holes. Literally anybody could have spoiled the twist. Marla could have been like, hey Tyler, and Edward Norton would have been like, hey, I'm not Tyler, and then she would have told him what his name was, and he would have known. This could have happened at any point after they started banging. Boss could have been like, "Oh, Mr. Durden, can you get those reports to me by Friday?" And Edward Norton would have been like, "Wait, what'd you call me?" And he would have spoiled it in the first 10 minutes of meeting Tyler. Even the goddamn waiter could have spoiled it. He could have been like, "Here's your check, Mr. Durden," and everything would be revealed. Even any of the Project Mayhem crew could have called him Tyler at any point, even by accident if they weren't supposed to. Even anyone on the street could have asked the narrator who he was talking to. Like on the bus, he was just talking to himself the whole time. Wouldn't somebody think that's weird? Thinking about it, Edward Norton could have figured it out. He could have checked his credit card bill or his wallet and noticed all his money was gone. He spent it on the night before on plane tickets, so wouldn't he notice he's out of cash?
The first rule of Fight Club is, you do not talk about Fight Club. The second rule of Fight Club is, you do not talk about Fight Club. Third rule of Fight Club, someone yells stop, goes limp, taps out. The fight is over. Fourth rule, only 2 guys to a fight. Fifth rule, 1 fight at a time, fellas. Sixth rule, no shirts, no shoes. Seventh rule, fights will go on as long as they have to. And the 8th and final rule, if this is your first night at Fight Club, you have to fight.
These rules get broken all the time. First of all, Bob, a character you don't really need to worry about, breaks 3 rules as soon as he joins. He breaks the first 2 rules by talking to Edward Norton, and in return, Edward Norton breaks 2 rules by talking to Bob, saying, "I'm a member." Next, we see Bob fight. He's breaking rule number 6. He's wearing a shirt. Later in the movie, Tyler addresses that many people were breaking the first 2 rules because more and more people joined. Edward Norton shoots himself to kill Tyler, but why didn't he die? I know I've talked about this before, but I just wanted to make myself clear. This would kill him. Why isn't he dead? Just watch the clip. Yeah, that fat guy, that's Lou. Lou was the owner of the bar that Tyler and the narrator used for Fight Club. So he showed up and, well, that happened. Yeah, so why didn't he just call the cops? He could have just sent some anonymous tip of an underground fighting ring and the police could have just handled everything. Just poor thinking on Lou's part. He didn't have to get blood all over him. So Edward Norton beats himself up in his boss's office and pins it on his boss so he could get paid from home. So, did the boss get arrested? We never really got closure on what happened. If he did the narrator need to go to court, testify? Did he have to go into the legal system? What if he had discovered that he was Tyler Durden and he had a possible criminal record exploding an apartment? Wait, I don't know actually. Did the cops know about that? Were they still investigating? Because that arson guy didn't call back till like near the end. Huh. Oh, alright, I'm getting into the real nitpicky zone here, so we'll wrap it up. Fight Club is fantastic, it's just so great. If you're like a movie nut, you will love this movie for all the hidden things in it and little Easter eggs and such. If you're like an avid movie watcher and you like to go see a movie every once in a while, you'll still like it for what it is. If you don't really watch movies a lot, you might not understand the full context of this movie, and I'm not trying to be rude and saying you're dumb, but you might be. But, as always, I'm a chump. See you around.
Okay, you are now firing a gun at your imaginary friend. You're firing a gun!